This episode of the Young Turks is brought to you by WestHost, offering premium web hosting since 1998. Go to westhost.com/TYT for 25% off. WestHost! WestHost, WestHost!
Public policy polling. If it is anywhere near true, the Republicans are in massive trouble. They say 43% of voters think that House Republicans are doing a worse job now than the Democrats did, compared with only 36% who think the GOP has brought an improvement. 19% say about the same. Now, 43-36, it doesn't seem like that's that lopsided, but you have to remember, just a little while ago, a couple of months ago, the Republicans had an they've now lost that lead entirely and gone in the opposite direction. Let me give you more details. 62% of voters think that Republicans have either made things worse or brought no improvement to what is already an unpopular Congress. Those are not good numbers, but we continue. During the exit polling in the last election, the GOP had a 19-point margin, 56-37. Overwhelming, right? Well, now they have lost it entirely. 30% of those voters think that Republicans controlled the House is moving in the right direction when asked that question today, and only, compared to 44% who thinks that things were better with the Democrats. 30-44 in favor of the Democrats now. Giant swing. What happened? They just took one look at the Republicans and go, oh, sons of bitches were lying to us. Because remember, during the campaign, the GOP, all they did was, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? And they kept talking about how they're going to create jobs. Since they come into office, not one bill about jobs, not even a word about jobs, nothing, not a zilch. Instead, we're going to rip healthcare apart. We want abortion to be repealed, and etc. Whether they mean it or not, that's the rhetoric that they're throwing out there constantly. And we're going to cut spending, but cutting spending costs jobs. We don't care. We want more tax cuts for the rich. Now that you see their real agenda, and by the way, it happens state by state too. That's exactly what happened in Wisconsin, Ohio, Florida. As people see what Republican governors actually want to do, they go, whoa, that's not what they told us. That's not what we're interested in. And their ratings have plummeted. Walker in Wisconsin, Kasich in Ohio, and Scott in Florida have lost anywhere between, I think, 15 to 20 points in their approval ratings in a matter of months. Same thing happening to the Republicans in Congress nationally. To lose a 19-point edge and now to be 14 points behind, it's an amazing turnaround. And look, I hate to keep saying how right I was, but again, I say it, I think I say it, I hope it's not because of my ego, but it's because I want you to take it seriously when I tell you something, right? I'm not making this stuff up. It's you see it in the numbers, right? I mean, I saw this coming earlier, and now it's here. Again, if the polling is accurate here, because these numbers are quite amazing, right? So what's the second part I was right about? These shifts are now dramatic, and they're happening all the time. Before, in order to get incumbents out of office, it would take such Herculean effort, and it would take 10 to 20 years to unseat an incumbent sometimes. And you had to work and work and work. Now, the tides are much faster and much larger. Change comes every 2 years. Big tide in favor of the Democrats in 2006. Big tide in favor of the Democrats in 2008. And then a huge one for Republicans in 2010. See, that's what I'm doing. All I'm doing is look at the numbers. I say that there are these tides and this change that comes much more rapidly because I see it. I don't know why no one else can see the most obvious thing in the world. The rest of Washington seems to get caught up with who's winning. The Democrats, the Democrats are the best. Although that hardly ever happens. Even when they win, they're like, it's not really a mandate. But that's another part of the problem in Washington. And when the Republicans, they're like, the Republicans, they have a huge mandate. They're the best. Oh, my God. Hey, wakey, man. Look at the trends. And so that's also part of what's happening here. As America sees what's happening easier, clearer, because now they have other outlets. They have the internet. They have, honestly, I think, much better access to news and real news. They can see with their own eyes. That stuff's not working, right? And so they turn around quickly. Before, there was a lag of information. So, if your local newspaper wrote about it, you might find out about it. If they didn't, you might not. So that's why it took forever to get people out, because there was a blockage of information. Now information is pouring in like a tsunami, and so it affects people's opinions. Sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. But here they seem to have gotten more information and soured on the Republicans. Last thing, independent voters, of course, incredibly important. Now 42 to 33 in favor of the Democrats. That is a 28-point reversal in a matter of just 5 months. 28-point swing. Okay, now if these numbers are true and they hold steady, the Republicans are in massive trouble, and the House can go right back to the Democrats in 2012. And as I've told you a million times, the Democrats' best friend are the Republicans. It's because the Democrats are feckless, they're weak, they're frustrating, and they keep tripping over themselves to agree with the Republicans. Oh my God, you're so right, what else can we give you? But the Republicans are so radical, so absurd, so extreme, that the American people are at the end go, well, what am I going to do? I can't vote for those guys. All right, I guess I'll vote for the Democrat. That's the situation that we're in, and it's not necessarily any credit to the Democrats at all, but it is, as I've been saying now for a long time, a great discredit to the Republicans, which they have wholly earned.
And at West Host offers web hosting for 19 cents a day. You can't get cheaper. That's
Right.
ridiculous. And you could do web host transfers. Like you got a website, boom, transfer.
For free. You have 24/7 support.
60-day money-back guarantee. Well, then you literally can't lose. 25% off if you go to westhost.com/TYT.
You know what I think about that? I think West Host.
West Host.